And he said, tell me, what are the requirements of religion? It's a big question. We have an hour to explain that. But our Imam was a very wise man. And he said three things. All covers, everything is covered in this. To speak the truth, to govern with justice, and to be loyal to one's covenants. It's all of us. It's not some great dissertation written in some very difficult language. This is very simple for all of us to take from today and practice it ourselves. To speak the truth, to govern with justice, and to be loyal to our covenants. Now, when we say govern with justice, we're not ministers or we're not prime ministers of countries or we're not heads of companies as such. But we have certain responsibilities in a household as well, especially the grown-ups. Or if you're an older brother or an older sister, you have certain responsibilities. To be fair with the share of the love and the resources with the entire family. So that's also kind of a governance. So you've got to be careful and be fair and govern with justice. It's very important to be just. Otherwise, it will create a bad feeling in the family, or in the company, or in the state. As you can see, lots of people are unhappy in our country itself. But there's still a fair amount of justice. But there's still lots of people unhappy because they feel there's been injustice done to them. So, these three things, brothers and sisters, remember, three things to explain the religion. To speak the truth, to govern with justice, and to fulfill our agreements or the covenants. Now, all the loyalty to people comes from loyalty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, our first duty is to be loyal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's no question there. You all understand that. But you will be loyal to people as well, even if they are on falsehood. It doesn't have to be that, oh, he's not a Muslim, I don't have to be loyal to him. That doesn't work like that. It's about us, not them. It's about us. It's about what you are, and not about who they are. If you entered into an agreement with a non-believer, then you've got to make sure that you fulfill your part of the agreement at any cost. Doesn't matter what his belief systems are. Now, I remember a statement that one of my teachers made when I was very little. And she told me that you behave like a gentleman. Always behave like a gentleman. Not because the other person is a gentleman or a lady, but because you are a gentleman. It's still stuck with me. I don't know how much I fulfill, my wife will tell you, but how much I fulfill, I don't know. But it's stuck with me. I try to remember this as much as I can. So keep these things in mind. These are like real learnings that we're doing today. As we said before, this is a school of love. We come here with no pressure, but we come here to learn, to improve ourselves. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now, one thing I've noticed, and some of you must have noticed this as well, and some of you must have done it as well, I'm not sure, that people migrate to this country and they take some benefits. Sometimes you're not eligible for those benefits, but you still take them. Because, when you ask them, question them, I've done a few questions to certain people, and they come from any land which is like being plundered in the past or some injustice happening there, and they say, oh, they're looting my land. I'll come here, I'll take whatever I can. It doesn't work like that, my friends. It doesn't work like that. You come into this country now, you're not living there. If you were there, then you had the right to fight the injustice. But you escaped from there or went away from there for whatever reason, and you come to a certain land, you have entered into a covenant with that country, with that state, with that land, and you have to abide by that. You can't loot. That's not a sign of a religious person. You can't take something which is not your right. That is usurping rights. And you know who usurps rights? We don't want to be like them, right? Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So don't think that somebody just done injustice to somebody else in your area. You have been now become like Robin Hood. You will come down and do whatever you feel like in another land. It doesn't work like that. It is totally wrong. It's un-Islamic, and of course it's illegal. So we don't want to be associated with activities which create a bad name for Islam. What did Imam Sadiq alayhi salam say? Behave in such a manner that you are a beauty for us. And don't be a cause of insult for us. Because when we behave in a certain manner, people think, oh, this is what he learns. This is what he learns from his hadith, from his imam, from the Quran. People don't understand that people are different from the actual religion, the code of conduct. People don't get that. People see people and say, this is what he is. This is what his religion is. And we've got to be loyal to our imam. And we've got to be representatives of the imam. We've got to be representatives of the religion. And we've got to practice it so that people know how it is. Words don't count, like I said in the previous nights as well. Words only hold for a certain period of time. Where it is not congruous with our actions, that becomes hypocrisy. And we do not want to be called the hypocrites. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Another very, very important lesson from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. And he told us 3 things. He said, for 3 things, there is no excuse for anyone to disagree. For 3 things, there's no excuse for anybody to disagree. Basically, what Imam is trying to say is that for these 3 things, you have to fulfill these. One is returning trust to anybody. If I give you £100 to keep, and I say, I'll take it from you when I come back from my journey 2 months later, then you've got to give it back to me when I come back and ask for it. You have no excuse. Oh, I spent it on something, I thought I'll get it back by the time, but I don't have it now. These things happen, right? People do that. Not £100, maybe £10. People do that. I don't have the money right now. But if somebody's given it to you in trust, or if he's given you the authority, okay, you can spend it, but when I ask you for it, you can give it to me. That is fine, you can use it and spend it. But when he asks for it, you have to return it. Now, the important thing that Imam said here is not just about returning trust, but also the fact whether the person is good or bad, or a believer or a disbeliever. These criminals who call themselves ISIS, they think that if somebody does not follow their way of religion, they have the right to plunder or loot them or kill them, because they think that, oh, this is a disbeliever, and we have any right on their life or their property or their family or anything. It is not the case. We don't have any rights on anything apart from what belongs to us rightfully. Let's make this clear now. So Imam said, first thing was, return the trust to the person, whether the person is good or bad, or believer or disbeliever. Second thing, fulfill your covenants, whether the other person is good or bad, believer or disbeliever. And the third thing was, be good to your parents, whether they're good or bad, or believers or disbelievers. Is that clear? Anybody not clear about this? Please say aloud salawat if you're clear. These are real life teachings, my dear brothers and sisters. This is not something you listen to a lecture and say wah 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 and then you go home. I love those lectures as well. But the point is that when we come to the school of love, we need to learn the love, take it away and imbibe it in ourselves and spread the love. Now, loving isn't about going out of food all the time and hugging and all that. It's not love. Loving is about the right principles to be followed so that people take you as an example. This guy is a proper follower of Imam Ali alayhi salam. We all tend to call, we'll have shafaat. I tend to say this a lot in my lectures. We'll have shafaat of Lady Fatima salamullah alayhi. She's going to be and Imam is going to do shafaat and all. But you don't follow the Imam. You're in namesake. Where are you the follower? Where are you the follower of the Ahlul Bayt? That's what you want to be. Follower of the Ahlul Bayt. Not just words. So, the Prophet ﷺ also said, one who does not honor a treaty has no religion. Any one of us, if we have taken any agreement lightly and have broken it at any point, make it a point and go and speak to that person and make amends and try to fulfill it, or whatever was left, try to make amends for that or ask forgiveness from that person, because Allah will only forgive if the other person forgives. That's all it is. Allah will only forgive. If 2 people are entering into a contract and one person breaks it, and then you realize a year later that I shouldn't have broken it. I'll ask Allah for forgiveness. Of course, Allah is ready to forgive, but that person has a right on you. Allah will only forgive if the other person forgives, or you give him the right back. Then only you can go and ask for repentance. Because such repentances otherwise have no value. There will be injustice from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah says, okay, I'll forgive you, what about the other guy? He'll say injustice on me. Isn't it? Is it fair? That's the important thing we have to consider. So, we all might call ourselves Muslims and we all might call ourselves the followers of the Ahlul Bayt. Rasulullah very clearly said, one who does not honor his agreements has got no religion. And do you remember in history the one man who was very bad at keeping treaties and agreements? Very famous. With Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Yeah? Well, you know the name, right? Speak out. Muawiyah. He broke his agreements. Broke all points of the agreement. If we break agreements, my dear brothers and sisters, we are his party. Don't call yourself follower of Ahlul Bayt. We are clear cut. Whatever we say with words doesn't matter. Our actions show we belong to that party. Okay? Be very, very careful. These are lessons we learn from history. From Karbala we learn what to do, how to act in situations, how to prepare for these situations. It doesn't happen like I said. It was yesterday. When I said if you've got a ball with Yorkers, and you never bowled a Yorker in a limited overs game, you won't suddenly turn up and bowl a perfect Yorker, will you? You bowl a full toss, go for 6. You don't want that. You want to bowl a perfect ball, and you have to practice for that perfect ball. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So, everything that we talk about, loyalty, everything, it all goes back to the quality of truth. Haqq. If you follow the haqq, if you're the slave of haqq, then we do all these things. Because a truthful person is not disloyal. A truthful person will always be on the side of truth. He won't be somebody who dupes you at the right time or the wrong time, whatever you want to put it. Now, Imam Ali alayhi salam displayed loyalty all his life to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imam's birth was in the Kaaba, as we all know. We all know that, right? Now, when his mother, Fatima bint Asad, was feeling the pains of birth, she was praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala around the Kaaba. And the Kaaba split apart and let Lady Fatima bint Asad come inside the Kaaba and close back. And she gave birth inside. I want to make a distinction between two very, very important ladies here. One was Maryam, mother of Jesus alayhi salam. When she was expecting Jesus alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked her to leave the sacred precincts. She was in Jerusalem. And what was the Baitul Maqdas, that was the main sacrosanct area of that time. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked her to leave the sacred premises and go and sit under a date tree when she gives birth, and she can get nutrition from the dates over there. Whereas Imam Ali's mother had a big honor, that Allah actually invited her into her house and give birth to her son. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And when Imam was born, Lady Fatima bint Asad was quite concerned. The baby would not open his eyes. Abu Talib would have been keen to see his newborn baby, but the baby wouldn't open his eyes. And when the Prophet ﷺ came along, took the baby in his arms, the baby opened his eyes. As if he wanted to see the Prophet first before he saw anything else. Alhamdulillah. And then a miracle happened. Imam Ali recited verses of the Quran. He recited the opening verses of Surah Al-Mu'mineen, which talks about glad tidings of salvation for the believers. And he was raised by the Prophet ﷺ and Lady Khadija Salamullah. And in Nahjul Balagha, Imam mentions that Islam at that time was only in the house of Rasulullah and Khadija. These two people, along with this little boy, were seen praying in the precincts of the holy house of the Kaaba. And he says that I used to follow the Prophet like a baby camel follows his mother. He followed the Prophet everywhere. He was there when revelations were coming. He was there when the Prophet was meditating in the cave. He was there in the house, of course. And when the Prophet was asked to announce his mission by Allah